Over to the side. Hold the position for 6 deep breaths. Sometimes it's very hard to breathe deeply in this position, so even a shallow breath is sufficient. It's very important how you connect your rib cage. You're not bending, you're keeping everything in a straight line. Let's try over the other side. Get into the position with your foot in line with your knee, hands behind your head, and lean over to your right side in this round. Now notice how your spine is getting long, your abdominal muscles engage. Your rib cage should not flare out. So you connect your rib cage and lean to the sides. This one position is very beneficial, not just for your hips, but also for your spine. Focus on a long line and then come back up. Let's repeat that. Stretch over to the side. You should feel a good stretch in your left outer hip and a good muscle activation in your abdomen. Make sure you're not sitting back in your right hip. Your focus is on leaning to the right side. And return. Let's do it one more time. Take a full breath in. And then on the exhalation, you're lengthening. Focus on connecting everything. Your rib cage. You may have to use your own hands in order to just self-correct yourself. Stay for 6 breaths. And return to upright position. Let's stand up for our next position. This is a lunge where we will be learning the rotation of the hip joint. Just pick up the Pilates ring and stand with one of the leg in the front, one leg back. So in this case, left foot forward, right foot back. Take your hands in the front. Notice how you're going to rotate your pelvis. So you're pushing your left knee forward and pulling your left hip backward, just like that. So you're making sure that the movement is not happening at your hands or your neck. It is happening at your pelvis. So now press your left knee forward and then pull your left knee and hip back, allowing your right knee to collapse a little bit and creating the rotation of your spine. Very slight movement in your spine, but mainly it's happening at your hip. Keep your spine rigid. In the first round, you will be gently pressing into the circle. So it's an exhale when you twist towards your left. Inhale when you turn back. Twist to stretch your left hip and push it away. And again, pull your left hip back and press it forward. Repeating that for 10 times. Let's try the other side. Hold on to the circle. In this round, you may also press the circle out. So you can squeeze the circle or pull it apart. Both ways work for you. So again, pulling your right hip back and forward. The balance is the key. Notice the left foot also turns. You're not keeping anything rigid. Everything is fluid. It's like a tennis player or like a runner or like any other sportsman. There, you're allowing your hip to continuously twist and then open. So you breathe out as you pull your right hip back, and breathe in as you push your right knee forward. Remember, your foot, your right foot is controlling this movement. And again, twist and rotate just like that. Notice what happens to the upper part of the body. You're keeping your upper body very stable, focusing on the lower body. Now, that is really a burn in your hip, and it's a lot of balance work. So we are going to try on the other side, one more set. Let's hold on. It's very important how you place your foot. So your left toes are slightly turned in. Place your hand in the front, holding the circle, and focus on the same movement. Breathing out as you twist. Pull your hip back. And then inhale as you press it forward. You're rotating your pelvis on your hips. We will do for 10 times on both sides. Follow the breathing. Make sure you're not overarching your lower back. Pressing out into the circle, use your thumbs. Focus on the breathing. You should really work your left hip. Oh yeah, definitely works. All right, let's give a try on the other side. So keeping your right toe turned in, hands in the front. Then when you exhale, you pull your right hip back. Gentle twist, inhale to push it forward. And inhale. There's a lot of movement happening at your hip. It's a very small movement in your spine. Press out into the circle, or you can squeeze the circle, whichever works best for you. Since you're training the outer chain, the external rotation chain, it's good to pull the circle out. So that connects your hip and outer shoulders as well. And that's it. Great work. Let's move on to our next exercise. This is going to be a very deep stretch for your hip. And to do this particular position, you will have to step your right foot forward and slide your left foot just across and behind your body. Your goal is to stretch your foot out completely. So do not have to sit all at once, but slowly, gradually stretching your right hip first. You'll be focusing on your right hip stretching first. Once the right hip stretched enough, and you could lower your pelvis a bit more down to the floor, you will be feeling a stretch in your left hip. So we'll take about 6 deep breaths in this position before you switch your leg. You can also place your hand on your rib cage in order to breathe into your ribs. This helps you stretch the outer side of your body. Let's try the other side. Now stay in this position. Let's breathe in and out. If you could sit that deep, that means your left hip is already flexible. So you're now focusing on your right hip, your lats, and some of the muscle on the lateral side of your body. Let's breathe in and out into your rib cage. And pull yourself back up. Let's repeat one more time. Again, place your hand in your rib cage. Breathe into the sides and back of your ribs. You could hold it halfway here, like this, and focus on breathing again. This can help you stretch even more into your hip. Once you finish your 6 to 8 breath, if you like to stay a little bit longer, and that's fine, then you will change sides. Let's change to the other side. Stretch your right foot under. Just keep the hips slightly up in the air to start stretching a little bit more deeper into your hips. Let's breathe in and breathe out. Pull yourself out of this position and let's sit down on your knees. Now for the next position, you will use a towel. We will be stretching our hamstrings, 2 yoga blocks and a towel. Let's stretch your left foot first. Into the front, place your heel on the towel. And again, we are not forcing and we are not rushing for any of these stretches. Place your hand down and just stretch out, making sure your left foot is close to the midline. Hold, counting 6 breaths, and then pull back a little just to give a little break for the muscles. And then go for the second round. We'll be repeating this for 3 sets, each set for 6 breaths. The block helps you support your body weight so that you do not overstretch your hip flexors or your hamstrings, but just getting enough stretch for flexibility that you need on a daily basis. Now let's change the leg. Bring your right foot in the front. Make sure your hips are very much squared. You're not splitting your hips or pelvis. So square your hips and just focus on stretching only your hamstrings. Now at some point when you can sit all the way down into the floor, your hip will rotate slightly. They will never be squared. But since our goal is to stretch our hamstrings here, we want to keep the pelvis as square as possible. Stretch it out. Take 6 deep breaths. And then pull back in. And for the last time, breathe out and stretch. Keep squaring your hips. Do not hold your breath. Always breathe in the positions, especially when you stretch. Now let's get rid of the towels and the blocks and sit cross-legged. This stretch is for your outer hips. So let's place your foot in a square shape, which means your right foot on top of your left knee and your left foot under the right knee. Keep your head very straight and reach your arms forward. Make sure you do not round your back. Keep your back as straight as possible. The focus is on stretching the outer hips. You may feel both hips stretching at the same time, but in this case, you will be stretching your lower hip more than the upper. And it's all right if both hips feel the stretch or the pain. All you have to do is breathe into your lower belly, into your pelvis. So it's inhale down to your pelvis and then exhale. So we stay there for 6 to 10 breaths and then switch the legs. Place your left foot on top of your right knee, left knee on top of your right ankle. And then again walk the fingers or hands forward. Focus on long spine as you stretch your outer hips. Inhale strongly down into your pelvis and exhale long until you feel the contraction of your pelvic floor and your abdominal muscles. Now come back in and lie on your back. Let's take a few breaths here as we relax ourselves. Just a few breaths. Inhale and exhale. We're going to finish up with one last practice. But before that, I need you to take a full inhalation into your ribs, your belly, and then breathe out, completely sinking your belly. Now bring your legs together and separate your hands at the level of your shoulders and lift your legs into your tabletop position. Simply twisting your spine. So swing your knee to the left side and then to the right side. Now very important part here is your goal is to keep pulling your hip back in towards your pelvis. Understand that. I will repeat. Your goal is not to push your knee away, but pull your hips into your spine. Pull your hips back into your pelvis. So you're pulling your hip back into your body as you twist your spine. And this will prevent overstretching of your spinal muscles. Once you're done, put your feet down and then separate your legs. Turn your palms up. Now place your hands on the base of your rib cage and take a full breath in and out. And place your hands on top of your hip bones into your lower belly. Take a full breath in and breathe out. Now place the hand right under your lower back and let's see if you can breathe into your lower back and then breathe out. For some people, it may be very hard to even feel that, so you can bend your legs at your knees and press your feet into the floor in order to round your back against the hand. And then inhale into your back. You should be able to feel your back expanding into your hands. And then as you exhale, you will allow your belly and your pelvic floor to contract. Again, inhale into the lower back, expanding your rib cage. And exhale to let go and relax. Let's put your legs down, hands by side, and begin to relax your entire body. Focus on deep inhalations, long exhalations as you relax your entire body. Stay as long as you like to stay in this position. And once you finish, hug your knees to your chest and roll yourself up to sit. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.